Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about one of the most controversial video game releases of the year, and perhaps of all time. I'm of course talking about The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 came out on the PlayStation earlier this year around summertime, and before then it was controversial before it even came out too. It's been a rather divisive kind of game for a number of pretty obvious reasons. They basically ruined the franchise by killing off the main character everyone loved, promoting the other girl character and adding these other female characters, including an alphabet character that got people a little bit upset, not because of the characters. Like, we don't care if you're alphabet or you like guys or girls. Like, that's not the reason. It's just the fact that they forced it onto us and took away our favorite character, Joel. He gets killed off, and then we're supposed to sympathize with the person that killed. And then there's this whole controversy with the director of the game saying all this woke stuff online. They started bashing the detractors, calling us sexist and bigots, all that kind of stuff. It turned into a total mess, and it's basically a story that was over for a long time. It's still over, but it has popped up again, and it's worth talking about for one more reason, because recently, as the year comes to an end, award season starts up. People want to give out awards, specifically video game awards have been coming out, and a lot of people have been pushing for The Last of Us to get all these awards. Like, they're still trying to pretend it was a big success, and sure, it was. Like, it still sold a lot of copies and it was popular. I'm sure they made money. I'm not doubting that it was liked by a lot of people too, but it certainly didn't go over like the first one. The first one was a big hit that everyone loved. No controversy, no BS, nothing else going on. The Last of Us was classic. People loved it. They played it over and over again. You still play it to this day. But Last of Us Part 2, not so much. Definitely a rocky start. And I think this whole video game awards thing is a bit of a cover up. They're trying to give it awards to pretend it was better than it was, which is what they basically did when it came out. They gave it all these glowing reviews. The media was in on it. So we're going to talk about that more soon, go over some of the details and the awards and stuff, and talk about why it's baloney. But first, let's take a quick moment to check out our sponsor. Did you know on November 6th, China launched a Long March 6 rocket, along with 13 satellites into our planet's orbit, one of them being the world's first 6G satellite. The problem with that is the rest of the world is still several years away from adopting 6G technology. However, new technology is also bringing new problems to privacy concerns, and us consumers probably should be worried. Data tracking and privacy breaches are a bigger problem now than ever. That's why I do whatever I can to make sure my information online stays private and secure, and that means using a very good virtual private network. And the only VPN I trust and use comes from Virtual Shield. So keeping an account with Virtual Shield ensures I can hide my location online, preventing advertisers from building profiles on me and allowing me to surf the web anonymously and securely. Virtual Shield was built from the ground up with the average internet user in mind. It's fast, reliable, secure, and it's also available on your iPhone, Android, PC, Mac, or tablet device. So try Virtual Shield yourself today. And if you click the link below this video, you'll get a free 30-day trial, which will let you experience true online protection with no risk or charges. So what do you have to lose? Make sure you check out my link at virtualshield.com/nobs and sign up for this amazing service today. Thanks for your time, and now back to the show. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's talk more about The Last of Us. As you can see by this news search, it says Last of Us 2 awards, and there's multiple articles about it. It says the Game Awards 2020, why The Last of Us deserves to win. The Last of Us wins Ultimate Game of the Year award at the Golden Joystick Awards. There's these nominees for other award shows. I've seen posts on Twitter like this. Like, everyone's trying to kiss up to Last of Us Part 2 again. It's like a big kind of revamp of it. They're trying to rewrite history of it too, which I find interesting because most people are going to remember it because of the controversies, because of cringy moments like the new character like Ellie getting a girlfriend, all this kinds of weird stuff, like the focus on the drama instead of being more of a video game. I mean, a lot of this new game, a lot of the problems are like cringy stuff. Like, there was this really bad love scene that got really graphic and strange and other stuff like that. It just turned into a mess. That's what people are really going to remember. These video game awards mean nothing. They're not any kind of prestige to them. They're just silly websites handing out little plaques, if even that. I mean, I already didn't like real award shows that are long running and prominent, like say the Oscars or the Emmys. Like, those are bogus. Those are like the closest you get to legit awards too. So those are bogus. Awards are bogus. And that's just another thing to get into. I mean, awards are just dumb. Like, they're biased and political and meaningless. And you can't really give awards to art. Like, how do you say this art is better than this art? art. Video game is an art form, like it or not. And that's all I have to say before we get into the article. We're going to check out more details on this one. This is from Games Radar. It says, The Last of Us 2 wins Ultimate Game of the Year at the Golden Joystick Awards. Naughty Dog's sequel claims this year's biggest prize. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and guess they're going to be supportive of this. Most of the mainstream media and the gaming journals are trying to kiss up to The Last of Us. They want to keep their access with PlayStation, with the studio Naughty Dog. They want to keep themselves in line with all that. So let's go ahead and see what they say for themselves. The Last of Us 2 has been named the Ultimate Game of the Year at the Golden Joystick Awards 2020. In a video following the announcement, Neil Druckmann, the game's creative director and co-writer, told fans that, I'm not going to lie, this is pretty sweet. It's amazing to be in the company of such amazing games, expressing Naughty Dog's love for every single other game on the list. He went on to say that I could not be prouder of this game and the team that put it together and how we lifted each other up when we needed to, and that I especially want to give a shout out to Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey, who killed it in more ways than one as Ellie and Abby. The game would not be what it is without your guys' contributions, your amazing performances. Finally, Druckmann issued his thanks to every single fan that voted for us, this being a fan award. You have no idea what it means to me and the team, and we will keep working hard to make you proud. So this to me plays as just like a PR stunt. I mean, there's a lot of other better games in this. I'm going to get to them in a second, but let's read this part first. It says, the award marks the end of an outstanding night for Naughty Dog, which claimed the title of Best Studio along with 4 further awards: Best Audio, Best Storytelling, Best Visual Design, and PlayStation Game of the Year, making it one of the most successful Golden Joystick Award winners of all time. Given the strength of this year's other nominees, this win is arguably even more impressive. They were. Now, I see it a different way. I see it as these games are impressive. There are some other good games, and this one didn't deserve to win. I don't think The Last of Us is really as good as they claim. I think it's their big kind of hype, and since it's a sequel, they could play off of that first game and get people into the second one. But the truth was, it really wasn't that good, and it wasn't as well liked. It's not as much fun. It's just a big kind of, this is just a marketing gimmick, and it's also like a woke thing. Like they want to kind of signal that they're woke enough, like all these awards and the people voting for it and the people supporting it in articles, like they're trying to prove their wokeness. They're trying to virtue signal. So of these games, I haven't played a lot of them, but for what I could tell, I would say certainly there's a couple on here that are far, far more superior than The Last of Us Part 2. My first contender, I'm going to start from the bottom actually. Doom Eternal did really well. That's kind of like a niche genre now, though. Not everyone is into those Doom hardcore shooters that are really fast paced, but they're really fun. I really liked Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's the game I did play. That was an awesome sequel, but that's also a smaller kind of studio, a genre game too. It's a platformer with a lot of upgrades and stuff. The one that I would say that should have probably won here, that are certainly contenders for being the best, Spider-Man or Ghost of Tsushima. That's the ones I would say. I would say Ghost of Tsushima probably would have won if it wasn't like The Last of Us is just so big. It has these stars in it. It's got that sequel hype. And really though, Ghost was probably the better game of the year. That's the one that I've heard a lot of positive stuff about. I didn't hear any kind of dramas. I heard some people complaining. There's always a SJW complaint, and there's always some story they make up. They said something about them. They were complaining with Ghost. It was like, oh, they're mad that white people were making this game based in Japan, like in the past, which is ridiculous. But the point is, there are a lot of good games here. I don't know why Last of Us 2 would win. I guess I could see it. Like when I go through this now, there isn't exactly one that definitely should have beat them. So I think in actuality, it was a weaker competition than they claim. They try to pretend it was stiff competition, but I see it as kind of like middling competition. The ones that I liked more are just not as popular. They're not as mainstream. Even Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, a lot of PlayStation people would have heard of that, but in overall, it's not like this big genre defining, like big pop culture milestone like Last of Us Part 2. So in a way, it kind of makes sense that it won. Spider-Man, I would say, is like a bigger character, but this is also just kind of like a spin-off of the original Spider-Man game. It's not like a brand new game. It's just like the Miles version of Spider-Man. So that kind of explains that. Death Stranding was a game I really liked. That's a Kojima game, but it came out last year. The PC version came out this year, but that's another game that's kind of strange, kind of different, lots of interesting ideas and cutscenes. So it's not going to necessarily appeal to the widest of audiences. And that's just basically the story. That's it. The Last of Us 2 is winning all these awards when they shouldn't be. They're getting overhyped and over propped up. Still, months later, as the year ends, these awards start to come out. People are trying to make claim and give these. They want a lot of reason they give out these awards is so they could put like a Game of the Year award sticker on the game and like sell it more next year. earlier, but that actually brings me to an interesting thing I noticed, because something that didn't really make sense. I actually noticed this over the weekend. There were some sales on the PlayStation Store, and some of these top games are PlayStation. Like I was talking about, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and Last of Us 2 are all PlayStation exclusives that came out this year. I would say Ghosts and Last of Us compare better because they came out earlier in the summer. Spider-Man just came out, so that one's still full price. It was never a $60 game. It's like a $50 game. I don't know. There might have been a deal on it I didn't see, but the thing I noticed is, the last thing I'll mention is Ghost of Tsushima had a sale. It was down 20 bucks. It was, instead of 60, it was 40. Now that's a good deal right there. That's cool. But Last of Us was down 30 bucks. So they were actually selling Last of Us 2 for half price on this Black Friday sale. And that tells me that people are over it. People aren't buying the game anymore. So they had to deepen the discount with Ghost of Tsushima. This game is still really well liked and popular, and they don't need to put as much of a sale on it, which to me says it's probably a better game that's going over more. But Last of Us 2 is just more popular, and they're trying to get more bucks out of it. They probably already sold as much as they thought they could, so they lowered the discount, which to me seems like it's an inferior game. That about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell for notifications, and until next time, we'll see you on the other side. Also, don't forget to subscribe on our Patreon. Patreon.com/NoBullshit is where you can support this show and keep us running. Remember, we got demonetized on YouTube. We're no longer making money here, so the only way to keep this show going is to join us on Patreon. Thanks again.